everybody.
Hold on.
And,
Does it show you're live now? Okay, go ahead.
oh, I thought you already put live. Why would you put the countdown?
Because we're gonna do the countdown for just go.
For us?
Yeah.
So nobody else could see the countdown?
No, everybody else can see it. I think.
Not if it's
No.
not live.
I don't know.
Anyways, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Married Lifers.
Go ahead.
Global talent.
Oh. Yeah, that's all I got.
She said that's all I got. Sorry, he called at like the perfect time.
Well, lay down, my love. Lay down.
Hey, my love, hold on. Okay. So go ahead and talk, babe.
What?
Talk. Tell Alicia hi.
Hello.
Alicia, testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear him better?
Yeah.
What?
I'm asking her if she could hear you better because you're on the new laptop.
Yeah, you can hear him clear. It doesn't cut out or anything.
Chop, chop.
He said chop chop. Hi, Petunia. So today we're just talking about a day in the life of a prison wife. You want to say what your day's like?
Yeah, I mean, my day starts pretty early. I get up for my morning prayer. Sometimes I go back to bed. Sometimes I don't.
I'm sorry, dude. My husband just said. I
What?
think he thought I was talking to him. He's all, I'm not a prison wife.
Oh.
Sorry,
did.
babe. I should have said Alicia. Go ahead, Alicia.
And then, yeah, I mean, I get everything ready for work, head to work my whole day. Sometime in between, I plan my lunchtime because where I work for the government, and I'm not allowed to have my phone at work, so I plan my lunch. So hopefully I can get to talk to my husband. And then I work the second half of my day. Then I come home from work. It depends on what time I come home from work. I either do my third prayer of the day at work or I make it home in time. And then I do schoolwork, other work. Sometimes
Where's your husband in the middle of all of this?
We're asking my day. I already said where he's at. I don't have my phone most of the day. You know that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's something new because it wasn't like that before.
Yeah, I said that already. Listen, ma'am, listen. But yeah, aside from the lunch that I already talked about that I plan around my husband's schedule, apparently because some people don't listen. Yeah, he calls me in the evenings on his, it's kind of depressing for me because we don't have much time to be able to talk because, yeah, my work situation and the fact that he's one of the few facilities left that have an super, condensed schedule, shortened schedule, because supposedly staff shortages.
They still haven't moved him yet?
Mm-mm. No, but we're waiting for when his points would get re-evaluated, and if they don't then yeah, I'm raising problems. I'm gonna call every day, so I hope they're ready.
I'll be ready. I'll send you all the information. Just, they hate me there.
They don't like me already, so that's why, honestly, aside from this, they try, I don't know, I won't say they try, but they accommodate things somewhat. But yeah, my evenings, I mean, phone calls with my husband or video visits with my husband, and schoolwork and getting ready for the next day, and then my prayers. So, I mean, it's kind of monotonous sometimes, but at the end of the day, I mean, do it all for a bigger purpose, a bigger goal. provide a better life for my husband and I, you know. So yeah, just
Sorry, I got a new laptop, so I'm messing with it because I had hide comments, and I don't know why that was on there. Baby,
Yeah.
what does your day look like? I know you're not a prison wife, but we'll throw you in the middle of that, and then I'll say what my day looks like, just so we get a
That's
clear
not cool.
picture. What do you mean?
Prison. Okay. What's the question?
What does your day look like?
What does my day look like? It's very monotonous. Wash, rinse, repeat. Get up, brush my teeth, wash up, make my bed, jump stairs, go to breakfast, come back. It's like dead time until I visit you. So really nothing going on unless we have. Well, you're asking about me, so I just have dead time in the morning, and then my video visit with you, calls with you. We're just hanging out, just chilling. Because over here it's dead time for us, and there's really nothing really going on. Lunch, a gym. We got gym. And if you got classes, I mean, it's like my day's pretty boring. I think when I ask about my day, because unless there's like something popping off, it's like basically the same old. We're doing nothing.
You make it sound
Huh?
nothing. So my day starts off with I get up earlier. Well, I don't get up earlier than my husband, but I get up earlier than he can call me. So I'll jump on work because I work from home. And then he usually calls me about a half hour into my shift and we talk. And then I work for a little bit, and then we have I schedule video visits at the same time every day. So at 10:45 we have our video visit for the day, and then he'll call me throughout the day. And I have the privilege of being able to talk to him like that because I do work from home, so I can answer phone calls. The only time I can't or I have to answer and let him know is when I have meetings, or when I'm doing a training. So I am a trainer for my job. I'll be going out of state next month, so we might be having these while I'm in Georgia. So, and then after work, depending on what day it is, I have a second job that I go to. My husband will call me before I go to work on my second job. He'll call me during my 15-minute break, and then he'll call me as soon as I get off. And I get to talk to him until about 10:30 at night. Then if you stretch it a little longer for both of us, like that's our week, that's our day to day. But then on the weekends is when we get to go visit. So like I said before, my only day off of both jobs is Saturday, and that's my day to visit my husband. So that's an all day thing. I get up at 5, leave by 7:30. Then I get home at 6 p.m. But like we really do live through our phones, through the phone calls that we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Rachel, for your comment. I appreciate that. Yeah, for us, prayer is the foundation of everything else. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely been limited in being able to talk to my husband. It sucks, but it's been a blessing in disguise because not that as if we're not restricted enough, right? But it has given us like the opportunity to, I guess, cherish it even more so because we can only talk at lunch and in the evenings. So, and he locks down by 6:30. So really, I only get a little bit. If I get off early, I get like maybe one phone call, like 20, 30 minutes before he has to lock down for the afternoon count, which is at 3:30, and then they come back out like 4:30 to 6:30, and he has his things to do too, right? Like he, to work out, to eat, to take a shower and all that stuff. So, I appreciate that he like rushes a lot sometimes just to be able to make time for us. So it sucks, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's forced us to, I guess.
I mean, you could if you would if you could. It's just you appreciate what you do have because it could be worse. You know what I mean? Because anybody who want to talk to their husband all day long, or sometimes me and mine fight because we do talk a lot. I think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I know what it was to go without the phone calls. You know what I mean? Every single day. Like we went from, what was it, babe? Like once a month? And then it was like once a week. And then now, like, it's every day. So, like, I've been through all of that. I've felt what it's like to have absolutely no calls, a 5-minute call once a
Yeah.
month, to, once a week. And then now we talk all the time.
Yeah.
So he likes to tell me this 1-on-1. And no, I'm not doing 1-on-1. Sorry.
But no, I wouldn't have it any other way, because what I mean by that is, like, I would rather deal with that limited than not at all. That's all I
Yeah.
mean. Like, would I want it? Obviously, I want him home, period. That's the optimal, for both of us, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if, the sacrifices we have to make short term, I mean, it's worth it long term,
Mm.
like big picture and stuff too for the relationship. So
How do you feel about the calls, babe? Babe. Hello? Hello?
hey, Milo.
Hello?
My husband had a power outage earlier because of the weather.
No, I can hear it. I think he's zoned out or is talking to his friends.
Oh, okay.
Babe. I don't know what he did. I just hung up because that's wasting money. You know what I mean? Like, that's dumb. But yeah, like, I wanted to talk about the day in our lives because it's the same as anybody else's. You know what I mean? Like, everybody goes to work, everybody has a job, everybody got things going on. And what you said about your husband rushing around to make the calls, like, I didn't think about that till you said it, but my husband's always doing that too. And like, I appreciate it because, sorry, these dogs are going to start because somebody walks by the house.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it because I know, like, when he calls me at my 5:30 break from my second job, like, that's usually during the time of dinner and they're out and stuff. You know what I mean? So he makes it a point to rush back where he's at so that he can make that call. Or he has a job that he does and it's timed. You know what I mean? So he does his job at between 2 and 3. So he'll rush to do his job because he knows I'm getting off of one job at 2:30 and I got to rush to the other job by 3. So somewhere in between there, he makes an effort to, even if it's just a minute call, to be like, hey, I love you, babe. Have a good day at work. I'll call you at 5:30. I'll call you at 8 when you get off work. You know what I mean? I appreciate that stuff because even though everybody thinks like, oh, they're just sitting there doing nothing, and that's basically what he said, but he's not. You know what I mean? Like, now where he's at now, he is kind of sad because when he was in Lyman, he had a full-time job. So it started early in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, I got my calls exactly at 6 in the morning. He went to his job, came back for count at like 11, called me. And then when they moved movement again, he went back to his job for the second half of the day. And then, in between there, on certain days, he had classes. And here, where he got moved to was supposed to be better, right? Everybody was saying like, oh, that's cool where he's at. It's going to be better for him. There's programs. There ain't nothing. he's been asking them and asking them. He's like, these guys are getting restless, and I want to stay focused. Like, can you? He even talked to them with one of his friends and asked if they can start like a class. You know what I mean? To keep these guys busy, to keep them in a positive headspace, and they're slow dragging on that too.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, if they're smart about it, to keep these guys busy in a positive way is better for everybody all around. You know what I mean? What is
Sorry,
Milo
I'm
doing?
looking because Milo's like playing with the bug, and I'm worried it's a spider. I don't do spiders, okay?
I know. I was like, what is Milo doing?
Yeah, my bad. But continue. I'm sorry.
But yeah, he's pretty busy. You know what I mean? Like, they have certain times. He's an OCA, so with his roommate, that's just what is it called? An offender aid carried?
Yeah.
Carried? Yeah. So he helps his cellie. So he has to take him, to medical, to his doctor's appointments. They gave his cellie 6 months. So he's, he has a lot of things going on with him that my husband has to, take care of him and make sure he's good and get him to the doctors every day and get him to the meds so he gets his meds. And it's certain times, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's just sitting around. I know he is bored though, and I'm trying to keep him motivated in a positive way. So I got to send him some more books this weekend. Like, I'm going to try to send him another book, because he was telling us last time, he devours them. He gets them and he reads them within a day or two. And I'm like, dude, like, slow down.
Right? Pace yourself. Don't just.
Yeah. Then he's like, send me this book that his cousin bought him some books last year. That Thoughts and Culture, Aztec Thoughts and Culture.
Yeah.
He's read it like 20 times, dude. And when he went to lineman, when he was in lineman, and they told him at 1:30 in the morning, like, you're out of here. And they packed him out. One of his friends had his book. So he didn't have time to get it back from him. So now he don't have that book. He's like, I really want to read it. So I guess that's something I'm going to get him. But yeah, like they have specific movement times. This place was supposed to be better. And this is the thing I don't get either. Like, they gave him $1 billion. Where's all that money?
Exactly. Stop,
You still don't have programs. You still don't have staff. You still don't, they didn't have yard for like a month already because there was an electrical outage or something with the gates.
Yeah.
They still don't have, or no, I'm sorry. They didn't have it for like a month, probably a little longer. And now they got it back yesterday. But like, they're, it would be smarter to keep them busy in a positive way.
Yeah. And it's not to compare them to kids, but you just got to keep them occupied and wear them out and stuff sometimes, like to keep the guys level-headed and stuff. Like, keep them sane too. Like, they need basic things. Like, they need to be able to go outside to get fresh air, to get the sun, like that contributes to, people don't really think of that, but it genuinely contributes to a lot. Like, being vitamin D deficient, like, that causes a lot of other things too. Depression being a big one of them, but you know what I mean? It causes so many other health things, and then they wonder why they get aggravated or like act different and stuff. Like, humans need that, like, it's just literally the way humans were made.
And that's what he's trying to say. Like, he's trying to stay positive, and you want to keep busy with positive things. You know what I mean? Like a job, like, classes. He's like, these guys are starting to get restless to where it's like they ain't got shit anyway, so they might as well
for what
do positive things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, don't do that. Like, I get it. Right now is a hard time, but you know what I mean? Like, try to keep it together. There's a group in his facility that's called Restoring Promise. So it's the younger guys, 25 and under or whatever, that are doing prison time. Some of them have a lot of time. And one of the young guys was telling him, like, I don't even want to be in that program because they don't have guys that I relate to. You know what I mean? It's guys that I don't relate to. My husband was explaining all that, and I'm like, he was telling him, like, I just want to basically mess up so that he goes to the unit where my husband's at. Not that that's a messed up unit, but restoring promise for them is like, um, what is it? What was he in at the other one? The stupid where they
I
got
don't.
the couches and stuff. What's it called?
Oh, the incentive pod.
The incentive pod. There you go. So
Oh,
restoring
okay.
promise is like that. So like they have couches in there. They on Friday nights they have movie nights where they all sit together and watch movies, and everybody else in different pods can see that. You know what I mean? And he's just like he's getting to the point where he can't relate. There's no programming, so that kid wants to mess up and be with the homeboys. And my husband's like, no, like it ain't greener over here. Like I know you're struggling, but I was like, you gotta keep him focused. You know what I mean? I know it's hard because he's trying to keep himself focused.
Yeah.
Is that how long the visits are, Petunia? She said flying from Phoenix to New York for a 1 hour visit, it's not even worth it. By the time they check you through, it's already time to go.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do they only have a 1 hour visits there?
I don't know. That's what I was asking. Like, is that like that's the normal for out there?
We'll
Because
see.
I kind of felt like that, girl. When I used to go see my husband in New Mexico, that's a 5 hour drive there. And then the visits were only 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like I drove 5 hours there to see him, and then I drove 5 hours home. And I would do that once a month. So it's like I'm driving 12 hours and only seeing him for two. But I mean, to me, it was worth it. I got to see him for the 2 hours. Because that's one of the facilities too where we didn't really have phone calls. It was like, I want to say maybe twice a month there, but it was really like, you know what I mean?
Sporadic. Yeah, not very
I'm
consistent.
like, now I take advantage of it. He's like, my phone bill's crazy, but he gets upset because he's like, I don't want to be adding to your stress of stuff like that, but uh, that's why he says the one-on-ones. Like I'll just do one in the morning and one at night, and I'm like, no, can you live without me that long? And he's all, no. I'm like, okay, quit bringing that up.
Exactly.
I'll figure it out. You ain't got to worry about it. Just call.
Mm-hmm.
That helps him to stay when he's struggling to stay focused. You know what I mean? Because he's talking to me. If he's not talking to me, then what else does he have? Just to do something that he's not supposed to be doing with his friends, and I don't want that.
Yeah, it does help them like plug into you, like even though they're always there, but like mentally they can like focus, on us for a bit. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I like sometimes he gets on the tablet, so it's like 1 hour calls,
Oh, they can call from the tablets now?
Well, it's like a kiosk, like they can't just go and take it to the room.
No, I know they have to check it out too through the library, right?
They stand up like where the phones are.
Ah, that's new.
But yeah.
Right before my husband left there, they had just brought tablets, but they were like, you can only check them out, from the library for a stretch of time. But at that point, he was like, it's basically just a big calculator. Like there's nothing. There's like, you can't watch movies, you can't make phone calls, you couldn't do nothing on them at that time.
Well, they're still the same as far as I know.
Well, hopefully that gets better too. They keep saying that, and we'll see how these phones go in September. I'm kind of gearing up for that too. I'm kind of nervous because I was looking at the call rates for what is it we're changing to from GTL to Securus, I think it is.
Yeah.
She said, my last visit because of COVID, visit is like 3 hours, then you leave for lunch and come back for a few more hours. Visits are first come, first served basis. That sucks. You have to leave for lunch?
Wow. That would suck.
See,
and then it's first come, first serve. Like you don't reserve your spot. That's crazy too.
Yeah.
Fights would happen, I feel like.
I wouldn't even have lunch. I would have just stood back in line and waited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh. See, stuff like that makes you a little bit grateful for the visits.
What we do have.
Yeah, because
Yep.
it's like, what would we
Yeah.
do? Sit
Shoot.
there and gossip in line for an hour till they let us back in?
Yeah, for real. Shoot. It'd be like, when people wait for like shoes or new releases of something, I'll be there like hours early just to be in
Camping
the
out
front.
with your little camper and umbrella and a fold-out chair.
Yeah, because
At
that's
that point, we would have to go in groups. Like, we'll sit here in these chairs, and as soon as the door opens, I'll run and take the chairs, and you save my spot in line.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think I'm in trouble because he's not calling back.
Mm.
But dude, he wasn't answering. Like, what do you want me to do?
You did try to call him a few times, like get his attention.
And like, I could hear the noise. You know what I mean?
But maybe, I don't know, maybe the phone actually did mess up and he wasn't, I don't know.
Yeah, he's all, I'm not a prison wife. But you know what the topic was today?
Did he?
No, grouchy ass. He's been in a mood all day.
Maybe it's the heat. It's hot.
It could be. He finally got to have yards, so he got to go outside and get crispy, as he calls it.
That's funny. Yeah, they're not doing that where my husband is at. They're not having yard again. They haven't been for a few weeks now.
I don't understand where's all this money that they just got. And it's not that they just got it. They got it like a month or two ago, right?
Yeah. And that's why I don't understand, because where he's at, they just approved to open another wing again.
Did they do that?
Yes.
When I was talking to the warden, when I pissed him off and he moved my husband, he told me that. He was like, because we talked about the shortage. Yes, if you can get through the phone and they don't hang up on you, you're lucky. Yeah. So when I was talking to the warden, when he ended up kicking my husband out, or moving my husband, he was telling me that. He was like, I go, well, you guys said you're not short-staffed, and now all of a sudden when we send you this email, you're short-staffed again. And he was like, well, we're trying to open up, and that wing that they opened, it's Unit 3 there. So they were talking about reopening Unit 3 as like a transport station. So you know how guys will go to Territorial and wait to be moved? So like when my husband was moved from Lyman, they took him to Territorial for the weekend. Or no, they took him to DRDC because it was a Thursday. So Friday they took him to DRDC. Then when they got up Friday morning, they packed him all up and took him to Territorial for the weekend. And then on Monday, they moved him to where he's at now. And that's what they're using Lyman for. Lyman's like the north, or I think
they're not doing that no more. They're not doing that.
What's in Unit 3?
They're for medium.
That's crazy. Because it was supposed to be a transport station.
Yeah.
But my husband was over there. And this is why it pissed me off too, because he was over there helping them clean that unit, helping him get that unit together so that they can reopen it. That wasn't a part of his job, you know what I mean?
He was just, doing extra.
Because he likes to stay busy, so he's not, have time to be downtime. Like my husband likes to stay busy. He likes to keep himself busy in a positive way so that he doesn't fall into all the negative shit. You know what I mean? Been there, done that.
My husband too. You should, I'm going to send you this website. They have books. I don't know that he'd be interested, but he can get little certifications from it.
Okay. Yeah, because he goes through the books, and then I think I like that part about my husband too, is because as soon as he gets good books and stuff like that, he shares them with his homies. It's like, he wants to educate them, because most of his stuff is all our history and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is super neat.
And that's what I told him. I was like, why don't you sit down the younger guys? Because he gets mad. He's like, oh, they could tell you everything about Tupac, but they can't tell you anything about themselves. Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
So why don't you sit down with them? And you don't need the CO's permission to sit down and talk to them and read a book together and explain what you know about our history to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to keep them positive too. Sometimes it's like.
It is. Because they get demotivated too. Like, I'm sure he takes a lot of joy in educating them and stuff, but they're not always open to it. They'll like listen, but afterwards it's like talking to a wall, you know? And at least that's how it has been with my husband, because he's really on the same type of thing. And then
That's
it's like it falls on deaf ears, and he's like, why do I waste my time trying to get them to elevate and, you know, like grow their minds and stuff? They don't even care.
yeah.
And he gets frustrated sometimes. You know, it's natural because they have small time. Half of them, a lot of them do. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to grow yourself even more so? Because then you do have the opportunity to use it on the outside, you know?
To go home and use it. Yeah. But some people are just. It's like this, dude. Like, we want to educate some people and let them see what it's like for us. You know what I mean? Um, but there's going to be some people that are hard headed and just not, just still be like, oh, they're dumb. You know what I mean? And that's fine. You can't reach everybody. You can't change everybody. Um,
Yeah.
but it's cool to reach at least that one person that's like, hey, like I get it. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's not even that you got to say you're sorry, but it's like a realization, like, oh, okay, like these are real women. You know what I mean? Like we're the same
Yeah.
as everybody else. The only difference is our husbands aren't here sleeping with us every night. We go through the
Literally.
same exact struggles. We have the same insecurities. We have the same day in and day out. If my husband was at work, we'd be talking throughout the day. You know what I mean? The only difference is he's not home for dinner, and I got to go see him on the
Yeah.
weekend. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy to me that people don't realize that they think, like, I don't know if they think that we're just POSs, you know what I mean? And we don't
They,
have jobs or we don't have a life.
well, they think of many things. They think that, or they think like we can't get nobody, or things like that, you know, which is
That's funny to me.
not and I mean this in the most humble way, not like, ooh, I'm gloating about it, but like that's not the case at all, you know. But we made our choice for the men that we truly love, and that's that.
Yeah. And that's just the reality. Like, it's mostly girls pick who they want to be with and pick who they want to sleep with. You know what I mean? Guys be with who they can. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know I don't got no problem in that area. So I like, that's a stupid thing for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's dumb, like a dumb thing to think. But I get it. Like,
And that's just people not knowing. That's
and I
really
like the
it.
way you said it the other day too. When you said it's either what? How did you say it? Like, people say bad or negative things about things that they don't understand or things that they can't get. You remember when you said that? And like that like resonated with me because it's like that's true. Like, either you can't obtain it or you just, it's just something that you can't get. But I don't know, dude. Like, I think that's dumb. But I think it's dumb too that they think that I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people that I've talked to or heard people say is like, oh, these chicks live off welfare. Their husbands live off the system too. They're in prison. Like, I don't. I've never got welfare a day in my life. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I've always had good jobs. I do have a bachelor's degree. I took the LSATs. I was going to law school. I got accepted into some schools before. I did get cancer, and that like derailed all of my plans because I had to go through a lot for about a year. It took me out totally, and I just went to a depression and just didn't pick back up on that. But you know what I mean? Like, I've done all of that, and people are just like, they don't see. I don't know if they don't see, they don't want to see, they don't realize that we're smart. We're not dumb girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're grown,
I'm not
educated
lazy. Yeah,
women. Like we're not just dumb little girls that are lost or something.
yeah.
We're
And
not.
I feel like that's how a lot of them think too. And it's like, that can't be further from the truth with us anyways. I'm sure there are some cases that are like that. But there's some cases like that for everything, for every relationship. There's people out here
Yeah.
on the streets that live off
Every
the
type of circumstance. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just don't like that
Stereotype that
yeah,
gets put
they
onto
put on
us.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I know you push me too, and my husband pushes me too to try to get back in the groove of getting back into law school, especially with wanting to figure out how to get my husband home. And it's just it's something that I want to do too, but right now I'm having to work 2 jobs, so it's not something it's
Feasible
not
at the moment.
right now. Yeah. Because I still, after I talked to you and I got back into the LSACs uh, site, like they keep sending me stuff, and they're like, because my LSAT scores are and all that, and they're like, we'll waive your application fee, apply here, apply there, and I'm like, I can't leave the state, dude. I can't leave my husband. Like I just can't do it.
Is
I'm
there
like,
any programs that do it virtually? Like
that's
on.
what I'm trying to figure out now. So, like on my spare time, in between time, the colleges that are reaching out to me and stuff, like I'm looking at that to
Mhm.
see if there's something I can do virtually. You know what I mean? At least knock out like the first year of like my basics virtually and then figure out things from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's like if anybody knows anything about law school, like looking at everything, because you got to make sure that it's board certified, you know what I mean, associate. Because there's a lot of schools out there that are for law schools, but they're not bar certified. So even if you went to school and you got the degree and stuff, if the bar doesn't recognize it, you can't take the bar, so you can't be a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like you
Like
have to
the
know.
accreditation and stuff, huh? Yeah.
So that in itself is like a full-time job trying to figure out what school is accepted, what school is not, what's the requirements, what's the application fees. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot
It's a
of
lot of
research in
time.
itself. Yeah, it's like seriously another job in itself just to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now that my kids are out of the house, I was thinking, I have more time to do that. And then I have to pick up this second job. So it's like,
Just kidding.
yeah. But I always tell my husband, if there's a will, there's a way. I just need to buckle down and focus. That's it.
God willing, it'll come soon. There will always be a balance.
Yeah. That's what I try to stay positive. I know we were asked the question of, our husbands have, with them having a life sentence, like, is that something heavy that we think about every day or that's on us every day? And I was thinking about that, the last couple of days because me and my husband were banking on clemency. We were gonna, he's gonna be doing his 25th year next year, and we were gonna file, but we found out the difference between a natural life sentence and a life without parole sentence is clemency. Like with the natural life, they basically gave him death row without a death date. That's what they did. And he was only 22. You know what I mean? So now it's like Arizona got some things going on with them, and I have to look through his case to figure out if he qualifies, which I don't think he does because the whole point of them giving him natural life was to make sure he died there behind bars. But I'm trying my hardest not to lose hope, and I'm trying to help him because him and my daughter got super upset about it. And that's a job, another job in itself, trying to keep his spirits up, trying to keep her spirits up, because that was kind of like a gut punch when we figured it out. You know what I mean? So like with life without parole, you can apply for clemency in Arizona after you serve 25 years on a murder case. You could apply for clemency. With natural life, you can't apply for any commutation, which that's what clemency is. So unless a law changes in Arizona, or unless I find a loophole in his case somewhere, like we're basically stuck in the mud. But I'm trying my hardest not to lose faith in God because I know through him any miracle is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through him anything can happen. So it's been hard though. Let me tell you, like I broke down crying a few times and I'm like, You know, it's hard to hold that faith and keep it, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and that is heavy, you know, it does shake you a little bit. You're human, it's natural, you know, but ultimately that's another test that God, you know, like, hey, don't shake now. Like, this is sometimes
That's fast.
it's like you get put through more troubling situations to draw you even closer to God,
Yeah.
honestly.
So that's what I keep trying to think. Like, you know, through him there has to be a way. There, you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
At the end of the day, at the very least, my daughter deserves to have her dad home. His grandkids deserve to have their grandpa. You know what I mean? Uh, People may disagree with me. People may not like what I say, but I stand by what I say, especially when it comes to him.
Yeah. That is heavy. That's, yeah. But one thing you could do is, because we both know that attorneys are crazy expensive. Sometimes,
Oh
um,
well, right, Biden.
you could do that too. Better
So
hurry. He's gonna
yeah.
fall out of office.
So my thing right now is I have him writing the whole story. You know what I mean? Like how he was sentenced, how he was convicted, like the whole story. And I reached out to a lawyer in Arizona that's helping me. That's going to help me look at his sentencing because that's what's going on in Arizona right now. They were
Yeah.
saying some stuff, so she's going to look at that for me. And then my little idea was to have him write his story out and I'll make copies and make emails and start just blasting them everywhere. And then start having everybody that loves us, everybody that loves him, also like do the template. You know how we did the template for Lyman when we were trying to address issues out there?
Mhm.
And then we just had everybody copy and paste it and then send it on over.
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking about doing, like doing a blast like that. Because at the end of the day, you'll never know what can happen if you don't try, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm gonna do that. Like he's in the process of writing that story out for me, so I can build the email and then have
Good.
everybody start sending stuff for me.
Yeah, let him get pardoned like Kodak Black too.
Yeah,
For real, for real. Because,
yeah,
like you say, you just never know. Like, the right person will see it, maybe, you know? And
yeah.
that's the things you gotta pray for. It crosses the right person's desk, so to speak.
And that's what I told him. I was like, if we don't try, we can't sit here dead in the water and expect somebody to come and save you. You know what I mean? We can't sit here and wait for somebody to just be like, oh, this is changing. Let's look at his case. No, we have to do it. We have to put the work into it. We have to reach out to people. We have to, you know what I mean, put ourselves out
And
there. So that's what I'm trying to do now. Like that's going to be my focus right now is trying to see what I can do and like just diving into the case and seeing where I can pick away holes and stuff. You know what I mean?
mhm. I
So
guess that's one thing. Well, one thing you could do, and then I'll say my other piece. But is like, have you tried the different, like the Innocence Project and things like that? Like each state has their own separate things, but that's one big one that every state does have that I do know of. But each state
yeah,
has their own different foundations.
I'll have to figure all that out, right? I'll
Yeah.
also have to look at all that. But I know that like the Marshall Project, have you heard of them?
Mhm.
So my husband wrote a poem. I don't want to say it's a poem. It's like an essay type thing. It's called Phantom Souls. And they published it. It was in GQ magazine a few years back. Uh, the Marshall Project's got a hold of it because he's talking about solitary confinement. Like I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you would like. Your husband could relate to that. You know what I mean? I'll
Yeah.
send it to you. But they published it on their website too. So like it's been like the Solitary Watchtower. I think it was on that too. Like there, it's a bunch of it's been on a bunch of different places. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I want him to write out how unfair the actual trial was and like how he was convicted. Because I
Mhm.
don't understand, and I'll never understand this, but I don't understand how you give a 22-year-old. They were trying to give him death, right?
Mhm.
There's no DNA. There's no eyewitnesses. There's no hard evidence.
Mhm.
But they were able to convict him and give him natural life at the age of 22. So it's based. They were trying to give him the death sentence, and
Yeah.
they ended up giving him. natural life.
Closest thing to, yeah.
Yeah, so if you look it up, Petunia looked it up, and it says it's the second harshest punishment in Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, how do you give somebody that? You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't get it. Babe.
But
Hello?
that's the thing that I guess we talked about our day, you know, as a
What
prison
happened?
wife, and we just made it short, summed it up. But these are the things we're talking about now that, you know, we have like 3, 4, 5 jobs with everything that we fulfill for our
We're
husbands.
talking, but what? Sorry, Alicia. Hold on a second. What happened to you? Like, I got on the phone and I was trying to talk to you, and nobody was there. You couldn't hear me because you didn't respond to me. Why? I said, why? That's what Alicia said. Was your husband having problems with the phone earlier too?
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying her husband was having problems with the phone earlier too. I love you. I love you. I'm going to put you on speaker so you can hear because I'm being rude right now. So his phone's messing up. It's going in and out. He said he couldn't really hear what I was saying.
Yeah.
So what were you saying though? Like, so there's a project out there in Arizona that I did find. I think it's called the Orange Project.
Okay.
So I was going to reach out to them. And the lawyer that I reached out to and was talking to, she used to be a judge out there. And then she is now a lawyer. She specializes in clemency. So that's
Wow.
when you reach out to her and start talking to her. But she's the one that, when I get his paperwork, she's the one that's going to help me to let me know if he qualifies to take it back.
That's
or
cool.
not. Yeah. So I was just wanting him to write a story out so that I can blast it out everywhere to see what we can do. Babe, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Well, that's rare that you see a judge go back to an attorney. Usually, that's super rare.
And then she specializes in clemency because I'm sure she's seen all the injustices and all the bad shit that was going on as a judge out there.
Yeah.
Why else would you? Yeah.
I think she I don't know the history of it, but I believe she had something to do with getting her husband out of prison. She went to fighting for her husband back in the days to get him out of prison. Because I think he had life or something back in the days.
That's dope.
Like that.
Yeah.
See, if I could find somebody similar that's like genuine and not having to question intentions, who they know, all that stuff, that's what's hard.
So I'm like, I'm gonna start blasting out emails to all the criminal defense attorneys in Arizona and be like, do you guys handle pro bono case? And like, but that's why I want my husband to write out his story, because somebody got to see it and be like, this shit is wrong because he shouldn't have been sentenced the way he was. You know what I mean? And I was telling him about worst case scenario, if we can get the case taken back and they give him life without parole, then he could file for clemency. So then we have an avenue to go down. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like, I'm going to try everything I can. And I think Petunia, was talking to my husband about trying to, if I can't get the courts to give me copies, because my husband entrusted somebody that supposedly loved him with a lot of his legal paperwork, and now all of a sudden she don't have it. So I know this is like, because he sent to me before and it's like boxes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I might have to drive down to Arizona and go to the courts myself and print everything out so he has that, so I can go through it and see what.
Yeah.
That's going to be my weekend. So when you want to come over or when you want to come and hang out, I'll make you dinner and you help me go through paperwork.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the same stuff right now, but they're playing right now with my husband's stuff.
Yeah. It just makes it harder that it's another state. So I have to take myself to Arizona.
In the first place. Yes.
So
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's like we both explained our days like, yeah, this is what we do and that's that, you know. But really all the things we discuss, you know, like we actually do invest so much more time. Like we have 3, 4, 5 jobs technically, you know. We're their therapist. We're each other's therapist. But we're their biggest advocate too. And they don't like we put so much time and energy into research and all that stuff, you know. We're like I won't say we're a full blown attorney, but maybe a paralegal for them too, you know? Like trying to figure things out and navigate the system and yeah, find I wouldn't even say loopholes, just find the truth that they try to hide to get things done right, you know? True justice
But
instead
at
of
the end of the day, it is a loophole because when you don't do things the right way, you leave those spaces open. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's true. Yeah.
And so, I mean, call it a loophole, call it what you want to call it, but I don't think what they did to him was right. And somebody else has to see that. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why I'm having him write it out because then when I send it and you know, ask for help, they can actually read a glimpse of his story and see how unfair it is. So then maybe we can get some attention that way. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody will be like, this isn't right. I want to fight for him. I want to help them.
Hmm.
And you know, there might be a hundred no's, but all we need is that one yes.
Exactly. Yep. That's where like I want to do all those things right now too, but I can't just yet because we're still like in appeals. So it's like not it's very ill advised to do it right now, you know?
Yeah, you
Like
gotta wait.
publicize things, yeah.
My husband's on his 24th year right now, so you know, uh, we need to do something.
Yeah.
Babe, babe,
Yeah.
are you gonna talk to us or are you just gonna stay quiet?
Is
Oh,
it choppy
sorry.
for you still?
I wasn't trying to be rude or nothing. Make sense.
Since when, sir? Since when?
Listen.
I'm just listening. You know, there's another thing is criminal legal news. I don't know if you've seen it. So they used to have like a newsletter that they would send out to prisoners called Prison Legal News, and then they came out with criminal legal news. Prison legal news had a lot of civil stuff that goes on in the joints and stuff. Then they came out with criminal legal news, and I think one of them was in prison too before they started that application, and then they have it online too, a big thing online as well. But they do a lot of different things like that too.
You were calling me Wednesday, Adam, and look at my black cat with me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that those magazines that he's talking about are pretty decent.
Yeah,
I
I did sign up for that criminal legal news that he's talking about. I haven't heard nothing from them, but that's why I think it's so important to have him write his story down so that they can, you know what I mean? Because if you just say my husband was convicted at 22 and they're like, okay, that next, you know what I mean? Like you gotta let them see what it is. You gotta give them the story so that they get hooked, if you will. Because
yeah.
that's another thing that you talked about when we did our other interview, and you were talking about, you know, it's who it's not necessarily about the law, it's who pulls out who tells the best story. And it's funny that you said that because you know I went to school for that, right? So when I was doing my criminal justice degree, my bachelor's degree, we had a mock trial, right? And I was the defense attorney.
Hmm.
And my professor at the time, she was a high profile defense attorney here in Colorado. And she was telling us that it's, you know, a lot of times because these people are supposedly your peers, right? So these people that go on juries don't know shit about the law. So at the end of the day, as a lawyer, and they tell you this, at the end of the day, as a lawyer, it's who can tell the best, most convincing story.
Yeah.
Who can pull at people's heartstrings. You know what I mean? I got my guy's case dismissed because we did that. You know what I mean? Like I was poking holes at everything. And then at the end, we thought we lost. And then I had them pull the jury and we didn't. You know, I got him off. But that's what it was. It's who can tell the best story, who got the most convincing story, who can make you believe and feel for that other person. That's all
Yeah.
it is. It has not shit to do with the law.
Yeah, 1000%.
And that's something that needs to
In my
change. Like,
husband's trial, there
mm,
was not, just like your husband, there's absolutely no evidence at all. Like, not even, and there's so much evidence that contradicts that it was him. And I'm gonna keep it at that for now, but that just makes no sense to me.
it's the same. Same, dude. We'll
So
talk about it later, but same.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And like, all the logic in the world, like being, and this is, yes, I love my husband deeply. That's my walking heart, but even from a very logical perspective, like, it just doesn't make sense. What?
Sorry, I got to sneeze. So I was trying to go down.
Oh, I was like, what is she
I
doing?
start
What did I
wandering
say?
because I wasn't trying to babe. Like she's talking and I'm like laughing because I'm trying to hold my nose and then I bent over to sneeze and I couldn't.
So,
Start laughing.
have you tried these before? They are so good. I'm not
And I
advertising anything, but they're just so
said,
good. I just thought of
Can you
that now.
talk
Like,
to
I ain't
us?
trying to
Pick
advertise
it up and tell them what it is. Read it to us.
pretzels from Dot's Home Style Pretzels. This is the original seasoned flavor. Maybe they'll
Buy
pay
you
me
a bag
advertising.
too. Like buy you a bag today. You can get it at Walmart or King Supers or even Safeway.
Yeah, buy you a bag today. I got this huge bag at Sam's Club,
Oh,
and it was really cheap. But they do have other bags at Walmart, I believe Safeway, and I'm not sure about, yeah, King Supers too, actually. So,
what, babe?
but they're so good. They're addicting.
What were you saying, honey?
What?
What did you say?
No, I just said bag and bag.
Oh, awesome. I told you he makes fun of me. She says it too. Did you hear her?
Yeah.
I get it from my mama.
I don't know where I get it from. Probably my crazy mother too.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, trying to go back to the topic, I guess, our days, like they are so much more than, I guess, what we did say.
You guys are super women.
We're super women.
I said you guys are super women. I'll give you that.
That's so funny.
I know it gets frustrating. Everything you got to do, you got to do all that stuff at home and then deal with us, which is a full-time job in itself. So we do appreciate it, even if we don't say it.
Oh,
I love you, sugar pie. My sugar bear.
my husband says it sometimes too. He's like, "You're a superwoman. I'm gonna draw you." He's like, "That's why you have your hijab. That's your cape." I was like, "You're funny."
My honey writes me love letters and says stuff like that. He sent me a card last time that said all that in there, and we were just fighting like all crazy. So I get the card and I feel bad. I'm like,
dang, my bad, huh?
wow, I'm like, I'm a jerk.
Be like that sometimes.
What? He don't like to fight. I like to fight sometimes. It's like I don't like to fight with him though, because I love him. I don't want to fight with him. So it's funny you said he's your walking heart because I always tell him that. I was like, because I always tell my kids that. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, you guys are literally my heart walking outside of my body. Like, I still feel like I have my son always says, cut the umbilical cord, mom, the umbilical cord. And I'm like, no, dude, that's an invisible umbilical cord that will be stuck to you for the rest of your life. Like, I'm always going to worry about you. I'm always going to ask you what's going on. I'm always going to be here no matter what. And my girls, the same thing. So I tell them, like, you guys don't understand till you have kids of your own. Like, looking at you guys, I literally see my heart walking outside my body. Like it's crazy to see that. And my husband's the same way. Like he laughs and he's like, your heart walking outside your body with Chuck's on. I'm like, what shoes did you have on today? He's all, my Reeboks, and I'm all, yeah. You're my heart walking outside my body with the Reeboks on.
That's funny. Yeah, ultimately, yeah, we do stay occupied. It's a busy life, but it's a good life. When it all comes down to it, it's a good life. Despite, not having them here. It is.
I don't want to say that, but sometimes it's like I'll never be happy that he's there.
Yeah.
But I think being able to see him once a week, like I get to be present with him and give him all my love and attention and stuff. Like, because we talked about that before. Like you take for granted when they're home, so you don't, you know what I mean? Like you just be like, there's your food. I'll talk to you later. Who cares? You know what I mean? But when we get to spend those days together, it's like it's just him and I. Like I get lost in him when we're at visit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's just, I guess, the mindset and the teachings I believe in. That's really all.
Yeah. Would you agree, babe?
What?
Would you agree?
I heard bits and pieces because like it's going like one in now. So repeat what was the question or what you say.
No, I just said, when I get to see you, the once a week when I get to see you, like I get lost in you. Like it's quality time. Like we don't take that for granted. We cherish every moment that we have, versus if you were home every day, like, taking for granted that I have you here. Like we have that time that's just us.
Yeah. I agree to some degree. Because there are things that we do take for granted. And like, do you remember like how when we first met and how I said I was gonna ask you questions to get to know you, some of the things that they might be silly or whatever, but it was just like some of the simplest things that when we're out there, like sometimes we take for granted, we don't pay attention to. Not that we don't want to, but just like, it just kind of goes over your head and you're caught up in everything else. So like on this spectrum of things, you learn to appreciate all them little things, even those little moments shared or missed or whatever.
Yeah.
Even more than you normally would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when we have our visits once a week, when I go see you, like we spend quality time. That whole time is just focused on you and I, versus being home and just not paying attention to each other, not giving each other that quality time. Because my attention and your attention is 100% on each other. Like a lot of times we're just talking and talking and talking. We don't realize that the whole 5 hours went by. It felt like 20 minutes. Or like the other things, like I told you, when we were in Lyman and stuff would be popping off, like me and my husband are so involved in us talking and what we're doing. The only reason why we notice anything is because all of a sudden it's like the kids. Like, your kids are loud in the background. As long as they're loud, you know they're good. But as soon as it gets quiet, you're like, hold up. There's something going on. Yeah, because that's not normal, And so like that's the only time we noticed shit was going on in Lyman, because everybody would get quiet. Like you would hear the chatter, chatter, chatter. Then all of a sudden there'd be nothing. And we'd be like, wait, hold up. What's going on?
Remaining. Yes. Oh no, that's crazy.
I love you, honey.
I love you.
Are you going to call me back after lockdown? Okay. I love you. Yeah, tell everybody good night, because we're probably going to get off here soon.
You have 30 seconds remaining. Good night.
Everybody. Good Good night, ladies.
Good night, baby. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Babe.
I
Very
love,
nice.
I love you. Oh, say that again.
Very life.
Close us out tonight. I love you, baby. I love you. Okay. Okay, so I think we missed questions that you said, Petunia. I'm sorry, right? Hobbs, I think she said, or something.
Yeah, she said write Hobbs as well and get on it like ASAP, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to talk. I'll text you later. Or yeah, if you're still up when I get off the phone with my honey. Because last night I was trying to tell y'all, Alicia, like I sent you that voicemail, right? Because he did that. And then I sent it to you and we were still talking and I fell asleep on the bed and I'm like, I looked at it and I kind of read what you said and like he was still talking. I'm like, all right, babe, all right. And I fell asleep. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning like this.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, my hand was rested on my pillow, but my phone was like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I didn't respond. But like, I haven't been that tired in a long time. Like, I can still respond to you and be like, good night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember nothing. I didn't turn my TV off. I didn't do none of my normal routine, my night routine. I was out like a light bulb. But it's people don't understand that. But this second job is taking a toll on my body. You know what I mean? Like
it's a lot.
Yeah. And then all this stuff, like this stuff with the whole clemency stuff that's going on, it's just like
it's heavy on your mind and heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I just need it. I need it to sleep. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we did good for tonight. Thanks to everybody for joining.
Yeah, all 3 of you.
Right. Yes.
But we
love our loyal fans.
We'll steadily get up there. If anybody has questions or wants to come on and be a guest, just reach out. We'd love to have other views on here. Like we have Petunia on Sunday, and that was our Saturday. Sorry, I like that because, I was thinking of. I like to hear other people's point of views on stuff because it made me think. You know what I mean? So next time when I see something crazy, which I usually don't pay attention to anyways, but if I happen to notice it, I won't be so quick to be negative about it. And that's a good thing with this too, because we get to see, just like people get to see our perspectives and like what we're going through, we get to see other people's.
Yeah.
As well. So it's like educating ourselves at the same time as we're trying to educate other people and bring awareness. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you being on with us all the time. I appreciate the feedback. As you can tell, we're still working things out.
Yeah. We're learning as we go. But all right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Married lifers. Oh, I gotta end it, don't I?
Yeah. Later.
You're making lips and shit. Wait. See, this laptop's gonna... Dude, like, I gotta get used to what I'm clicking.
Right.
Louise, man. I wish you could do this. Oh. It's different places.